Hi, Gary here. We're on our third financial literacy phase, and it's for those folks in the very productive years of our life, age 25 to age 65. Now, let me build you a picture of what it looks like when folks today are in their late 50s, what they look like from a demographic standpoint. Typically, they're married, they have a couple of children, they've paid off their home, they may have a second home, they have about $1 million plus of investable assets, and they've done this over the past 30, 35 years of their life. And by the way, that's about 3.6 million Americans right now. We look out there that have that amount of assets. Now, some of them have less children or more, some are significant others. I mean, there's a variety of different ways. But basically, that's kind of where they end up at the 60, 65 range. So let's go back to the first two phases. You know, children were learning about donating, investing, spending, and saving through that little pig. Second, we're getting these young adults launched out there, either out of high school or out of college. They're poor, they have no money. But those who save first and spend second to end up down the line in the demographic I just spoke about. So what goes on in these years? What takes place? Well, there's really three primary concerns. The first is preservation of wealth. In other words, keeping what you got. The second is mitigation of taxation. Taxes end up being between 25 and 50% of the earnings on your investments. It's rather large, so it makes a big difference down the line. And finally, third is really growth, growing the portfolio over a long period of time to come up with, you know, the successful wealth necessary to retire. So where do we begin here? Well, let's start with, again, three areas or buckets for investments. You have short, intermediate, and long. We need to build out the short first. Why? We talked about primary concerns, preservation of wealth, and that would be 6 months of expenses in cash, you know, money market accounts, checking, and so forth. If it's $100,000 of expenses a year, then $50,000 in there. That's the first step that needs to be done. Now, simultaneously, in most likelihood, if you're working for a corporation and they have a 401k plan and they have a matching program, you want to take advantage of that right away. It's free money coming in. Plus, it mitigates taxes. So let me cover the tax issue for a second. So take this example. If you earn 7% on investment, and it's in a tax-deferred environment, it could be 401k, again, if that's unavailable, it could be personal funds that are tax-deferred. But 7% at age 25, if you have $100,000 as an example, by age 60, 35 years later, it's roughly $1 million. Okay, that's 7%. If it's taxed currently as you go along, and it's netting at 4% as an example, 4% from age 25 to age 60, 35 years, is going to end up being about $400,000. So you have a 10 times multiple or a 4 times multiple. It is huge. That's why the second concern is about mitigating taxes. So as you're going through these years and you're leaving the renting environment and buying a home, and maybe you're getting married and you have children or you have a significant other, and these expenses start to build, you've got these different things that are happening back and forth, but you want to keep having saving first and spending second. You want to keep trying to mitigate against taxes, and you want to build out the long-term and that short-term emergency funds right away. There's also an intermediate bucket, which I mentioned a little earlier, and in that particular area, typically we see people build out 2 years to 7 years of expenses in that. So when they do get to their late 50s and they're retiring, they really have this really great structure in place that allows them to do anything they want. They can continue working or not, if they enjoy doing that, or they could retire and go off and do whatever they want to do, write their memoirs. So this third phase is really important, lots of complexity going on, but just building it very simply with these three concerns and these three bucket areas. Now, we've got our seminar coming up on taking charge of your wealth. That's going to be in March. You can go to the events page at coylefinancial.com and sign up there, or you can call our 800 number 480-7913 to just sign up that way. Bring a friend. We'd love to have you there. There'll be some more education at that particular seminar, really leading up to Financial Literacy Month, which is April of each year. So until next time, enjoy.